Holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord, Bazalwane. Let them not play there in Harare. I've been telling you people in Harare, I've been telling you that God said He is coming to Harare, right? And He hasn't come. He's just moving towards Harare. I've been telling you that God said the day He comes to Harare, somebody is gonna run to the airport. That white guy, what is his name? Macmillan or something. We are told that he packed his bags and his family. They went to the airport, just as we've been saying here. The Lord has been telling me that there's three more people that are yet to run to the airport. This is just the beginning of greater things. You understand what I'm saying? The days of you ignoring me, thinking that I'm a crazy person, what I'm saying, I do not know, is if like God Himself who speaks through me is a crazy spirit, I'm gonna come to an end. Because everything I've been saying here, you shall see happening. Now, this Al Jazeera money laundering thing is going to expose something that people were not really looking into. And I've been watching a lot of social media, and the Zimbabweans have not understood a certain item about this money laundering thing. Here's what it is. Let me give it to you. You see, when you launder money, you're a normal person, like more dollars. What happens is that you are going to be arrested or go to jail. You know, the international institutions are going to investigate you and stuff like that. But if you are politicians, if you're not just any ordinary politicians, but the highest politicians in office, and not just the highest politicians, but the whole government is involved in money laundering, grey listing is not enough. You are creating enemies throughout the world. Because there's the thing. You must ask yourself, where does that money come from for money laundering? Do you know where it comes from? It comes from people that are doing illegal activities in various countries and avoiding taxes in their countries. Which means that Zimbabwe, specific, and ZANU PF, they are facilitating tax evasion from all countries around the world. Which puts ZANU PF as an enemy of government. As ZANU PF, this time around you've missed that big time. Because now you are pitting yourself as enemies of government. Before you were enemies of the people of Zimbabwe who are weak and don't have the power to defeat you. But now you have made yourselves governments of countries, of all countries. We have got all the armies of the world. Imagine the Zimbabwe National Army can, in the Central Intelligence Organization, they can try to shut me up or any other someone in the opposition. But now they have messed with the global powers. I mean, this is a real screw up, Zanupia. I know that many of you people out there have not been looking from this perspective because I've been listening to people talking. And God opened my eyes this morning to understand that this actually is what God meant when He said the walls are closing in and the wars are coming in. And I've been telling you that God is preparing a war, a global war against Zanupia. And I didn't understand how God is going to do it. And even after the expose, I didn't understand. God gave me 5 days of watching all of these things. And until this morning, He opened my eyes and said, this is what it is. When people are involved in money laundering, when governments, this is not about just not ordinary people, more dollars ordinary person, but ambassador at large and principal and number one president, they're not just ordinary people, they are the government. So what it means that the sovereignty of a nation that is afforded or accorded by other nations that decide to honor you, that you are a nation, recognize you, that you're a nation, expect you to fall in line with international laws, international customs. You understand? So every government collects tax. Tax collection is one of the highest priorities of all governments. But if there's another government, there's a government somewhere in Africa that is facilitating for tax evasions, Monies that are supposed to go to the Chinese coffers. Xi Jinping's money. His Chinese billionaires go and launder money in Zimbabwe, aided by Hubert Angel and Emerson Mnangagwa and the Zimbabweans. Russian money that is supposed to go to Vladimir Putin, to go to the Russian national coffers, and dirty Russians are evading taxes and cleaning that money in Zimbabwe. Let me tell you something. You can say you hate Washington, but I'm telling you, this is what God was showing me this morning. That God is setting up ZANU PF against China, against Russia, against every single country in the world. Because every single country in the world with taxpayers is losing its tax revenues, aided by Etim Mnangagwa in this case. You see now ZANU PF has outdone itself because they have done well in stealing from Zimbabweans, and the Zimbabweans have got no power. But now they are stealing from governments. I don't understand. ZANU PF has not gotten this, it has not sunk in it. Because one time I was listening to this chat about the Zimbabweans. This girl was complaining that, oh, people are getting gold bars. She's complaining that she's not getting her own gold bar. And I'm like thinking, this ZANU-PF people are taking this thing lightly. Because this is the time when you run away from ZANU-PF. It's the time when you claim that you have never joined ZANU-PF. You do not know what you're talking about. You do not know what ZANU-PF is. That is that time. Because right now, the enemies that you have made, ZANU-PF, are international enemies. All governments, not just some of them, but all of them. Imagine going to China to meet the CCP and trying to figure out how they can help you defend against the powers of Washington. They're just going to look at you and say, you the biggest thief that are stealing, that are facilitating the stealing of Chinese revenue. Eh? Imagine Al Jazeera is just one entity that did this expose. How about the other Chinese private investigators, Chinese government investigators? How about the Russian government investigators? How about other investigators from Saudi Arabia, from the UAE, from India that are investigating their own billionaires and millionaires and people that are evading taxes, people that are involved in crimes? I haven't gone to USA. I even gone to the FBI, to the CIA, to Interpol. Those guys don't play. They will screw you, ZANU-PF. Don't play. Because right now they will have a real reason because you are stealing from the American public. How about that? How about that, Itim Nangak? Oh, you have done, you have outdone yourself, boy. You have outdone yourself this time around. How about stealing from the British public? You have outdone yourself. You know that the world is suffering right now from high inflation in the Britain, high inflation in USA. When those citizens hear that some government in Africa is helping the billionaires and other criminals evade taxes, and it's and the reason why Eddie and his friends are doing this is because Zimbabwe is a sovereign state, and because we've got institutions that are linked to global institutions. You see, there is this thing, this counterparty agreement between countries. Okay, the fact that they respect Zimbabwe as a country, meaning that our institutions are respected as well. So if something is stamped by our banks, stamped by our government, it is respected by other governments as well. But if our government, our number one principle and our institutions are actually stamping things that are actually stealing from other governments, then you are making other governments angry. You didn't calculate this part. You are just thinking about stealing from Zimbabweans, but right now you overstepped your boundaries and went to stealing from other governments. You are now stealing from the US government. Okay, how about that one? How about that one? Okay, let's just go there. ZANU PF, Itim Nangako, your whole friends. You are now stealing from the US government because all American citizens that are washing their money in Zimbabwe, effectively, you are part and parcel of that crime of stealing from US citizens. Just imagine what the FBI is going to do to you. Just imagine what the CIA is going to do to you. You are stealing from the British public. Just imagine what the MI6, because those guys are international investigators. Then oh, they are so good. Al Jazeera is nothing. Just imagine. Just imagine. Actually, what ZANU-PF is doing is what is going to unite United States and Russia, because both of them, even Russia, your friends, Putin is not going to be smiling and say, "Oh, it you're doing the right thing." No, because we are stealing from him. Xi Jinping is not going to be happy at what ZANU-PF is doing because we are stealing from him. The sheikhs and then Dubai, the sheikhs in UAE and all of those places, they all of the ED says they are his friends. They are not gonna be happy that their lead, their friend in Harare is stealing from them. They're not gonna be happy. You're not gonna smile and say, "Oh, these are our undercover dealings." It's no, because this time, because this time around, a thief is a mafia is stealing from other bigger mafias, and the bigger mafias will begin to show you. I told you that God is coming to Harare. I told you, ZANU-PF, and you people think that I'm just a joke. I told you that the walls are closing in and the wars are coming in. And I told you 4 or 5 months ago that look at your international bank account. I didn't know what God was talking about. He told me, he said, tell it that he's handing you over to the Jews that run the world. You are going to be attacked, your money international. I didn't know what God meant, but now I do understand. It is your money, your pockets right now. Internationally, God is attacking you. Not only exposing the criminality, but actually stopping the inflow. Right now, Zimbabwe is very hot. Even other money laundering are not doing it in Zimbabwe anymore, at least for now, because we are toast as a country. The country is a toast. The sovereignty. This now is actually going to a place where we are actually losing our sovereignty. Because remember, we are sovereign because the superpowers of the world allow us to be calling ourselves a sovereign. Superpowers can easily send their armies to just take over the country, but they're not doing it because of courtesy, because that is a law that they themselves agreed upon themselves, that okay, we will give sovereignty to countries. This is what the so Emerson Mnangagwa and his friends, they have breached that international trust. This can lead to a place where the United Nations itself can begin to say, do we recognize the sovereignty of the Zimbabwean government? Because now you are undermining international order, international institutions, because this order now is affecting everyone around the world. Before, when ZANU-PF was standing from Zimbabwe, the world would keep quiet.